listen close. Truth not hide forever. Hey. Colonel in the O's, Wyatt Africa, stand up. Hey. Legacy media all around, headlines spinning round and round, selling fear from town to town, trying to keep the people down. Lies and fake news every day, misinformation on display. Disinformation lights the way, leading sheep so far astray. Little lambs in line, trusting everyone in sign, marching where them say is fine, never asking who designed. Truth gets traded for political gain, again and again and again, while ordinary people feel the strain, caught in somebody else's game. Resistance is futile, them say. Just obey what you're told today, but the people waking up anyway, and the truth keeps finding a way. Resistance is futile, them cry, while their stories never quite comply. You can see it with your own two eyes. Truth lives on, it never dies. Them divide people left and right, turning neighbors into fights, clouding up what should be bright, hiding facts out of sight. They use people then discard, push narratives strong and hard. When the evidence leaves them scarred, them simply move the goalposts yard by yard. Cognitive dissonance in the air, contradictions everywhere, yet some still pretend not to care. Like the emperors got close to it, but a movement's growing every day, not from rage and not from hate, just folks who choose to investigate before it's far too late. Resistance is futile, them say. Just obey what you're told today, but the people waking up anyway, and the truth keeps finding a way. Resistance is futile, them cry, while their stories never quite comply. You can see it with your own two eyes. Truth lives on, hey, it never dies. Come and get a daily dose of reality. No hysteria, no manufactured tragedy. Take a little break from propaganda and insanity, and step into a place of clarity. Inoculation against fake news infection, yellow journalism without direction. Question everything, make your own inspection. Truth should never fear examination. Join the colonel, hear the story. Without all the money, facts should glory. Facts before ideology, that's the art of honest reporting. The Wyatt Army isn't just a name, it's ordinary people in the game, thinking freely, not seeking fame, refusing to be led by shame. Just chill, relax and hear the scene, see what all the headlines mean. Objectivity sharp and clean like a river flowing crystal green. No need for panic, no need for fear. Take a look and make it clear. When the facts and evidence appear, the signal rises through the smear. Resistance is futile, them clear, yet more people question all the same, searching truth beyond the frame, and refusing to play the game. Resistance is futile, no more. People knocking on reality's door, seeking facts they're looking for, and finding what they can't ignore. Yeah man, truth shines brighter than confusion. The noise fades, the facts remain. Colonel Chris and the Wyatt Army, keeping it cool, keeping it real. Resistance is futile when the truth is coming true. Fade out. Truth, 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 truth. Ooh, truth, truth. Ah, da, 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 da. Truth, 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 truth.
Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Thursday, June 4th, 2026. Welcome back to the program, folks. Your daily inoculation, your protection, your jab against misinformation, disinformation, yellow journalism, propaganda, hate wankers on social media, and lies everywhere. All right, let's get to it here. We've got sound check. All right, let's get sound check is good. 260 people currently here. Be sure to hit that like button. It does actually help the algorithm draw people here and feeds the notification to more people, believe it or not. Sharks signed a new player, Sebastian Vermeulen. Yeah, he's a big dude. I heard about him. Yep. All right, folks, let's get to the news. Lots, as usual, to talk about here. If you've got any questions about refugees or my favorite color, please hold those questions until after the news, or my moderators will first remove your messages, and then if you repeat it, they'll give you a timeout. It's disrespectful. This is a news program. Everyone knows that after I finish the news analysis, then we can talk about things. All right, let's get to it. Save the puppies. Yes, that's right. Save the puppies. I'm going to have to make a satirical short on Save the Puppies. Yes. What are we discussing tonight? The news, Marius. We're always discussing the news on a news program. Hence, Chris Wyatt Reports is a news program. But we can chat about other things when it's over. Floods in the Eastern Cape forcing evacuation, widespread road closures in South Africa. Residents of the Kruger informal settlements were evacuated. The municipality applying blankets, mattresses, and meals in community halls. Multiple roads and bridges closed due to flooding, sinkholes, and rockfalls, with power outages also reported in Nelson Mandela Bay itself. Heavy rains battered Eastern Cape Sarah Bartman district in Nelson Mandela Bay Wednesday, forcing evacuations from flooded informal settlements and closing several roads and bridges. Thank you for the memberships coming up. Appreciate that. All right. Please make sure that you evacuate to our community halls, said Kruger Mayor Hatnia Bornman. The Route 330 route to Humansdorp was closed to all traffic until further notice. My goodness. The R332 into Bavijnskloof Nature Reserve has also been closed due to heavy flooding. Sections of the M4 and Settlers Way behind North End area also affected. Big stuff. The R328, the R324, the N1 is closed at Lu Gamka due to flooding. Lots of trouble with this flooding going on in the Eastern Cape, folks. And so let's see if these municipalities can actually manage to handle their water now that the reservoirs should be recharged and the water table recharged with all this rain, unless it just washed off. Amazon is offering Prime in South Africa for just $4 a month, actually $3.60. It's a steal. It's a steal if you're an Amazon customer, but that's up to you, folks. E-commerce giant Amazon said yesterday it's launching its Prime service in South Africa, offering fast deliveries and media content for 59 Rand a month, or $399 a year. It's available in 26 countries, with Prime Day, one of the biggest sales events, scheduled for the 23rd of June to the 29th. So just in time for Prime Day, which is actually a week long. So it's not really Prime Day, it's Prime Week, Amazon. Amazon has only been in South Africa for 2 years, but now they're offering Prime at a huge discount. Given that I have to pay $5 a month not to see ads on Prime, which wasn't part of the deal, that adds $60 to my Prime subscription. So for $200 a year, $199, you're going to get for $24 what I pay $199 for. At least in theory. Wait and see if you actually get the same things that I get here in the U.S. Yep, 30-day free trial, or you can sign up for a year for 399 Rand. That's pretty cheap. The MK party, historically ignorant and race hustling in the greatest degree possible, wants to roll back the clock from 1913, when the Native Lands Act was signed under the Union of South Africa, to 1652. To 1652, claiming that that's when land was stolen. Really? Really? That's when land was stolen? Well, I'd like to roll the clock back myself. Okay, so it's 2026 minus 1600 years equals the year 426. I'd like to go back to the year 426. or actually it's 1,300 years. So let's go back to the year 426. Why? We're going to deal with the Bantu invasion of Southern Africa. So if we're going to roll the clock back to an arbitrary date of 1652 based on a racist calculation by a race-hustling party that hates white people, well, let's just roll the clock all the way back to when the true invasion began of Southern Africa in the year 426, roughly, when Bantu speakers crossed the Limpopo River into what is South Africa today. So that's what we're going to go back to. And then all of these Nguni speaker peoples and the European descendants and half of the coloreds can footsec because they're not the true owners of the land, according to this idiotic concept. The MK Party wants to move the legal date for land tracking and restitution to 1652 to replace land titles in South Africa with 100-year leases. Wow. It also wants to replace Section 25 of the Constitution. These people are evil and dangerous, and this alone is justification for racial persecution for South Africans. You don't need anything else. By the way, I did a response to a ridiculous op-ed posted by a woman who lives in America and I believe is married to a white person based on her surname. I could be mistaken. It is a Jewish surname. And she is making false claims about the refugee program and factually getting things wrong. YouTube has suppressed that video and virtually nobody has seen it. Virtually nobody has seen that video. It's now been up for many hours and it has let me see, 3,000 views. Is that right? Maybe currently. Let's take a look. 3,800 views. This is a suppressed video. That's what's happening now. YouTube is actually not just shadow banning, actually actively suppressing content. Actively suppressing content. There's no way that this video has so few views. The things don't jive. If my channel was losing interest, then I would see fewer viewers. My live streams wouldn't be large. They would be small. If I was losing interest, I wouldn't be reaching so many people. But clearly somebody's playing games. Somebody's playing games with this content. So it's getting old. I'm about to have my fill of this platform. 160 days in court, 60 witnesses, and a judgment finally for the racist murder of a white British couple. 3 years, 160 court days, 60 witnesses later, judgment has begun the murder trial of British botanist Rodney and Rachel Saunders. 2 of the 3 accused refused to leave their holding cells to hear the judgment. On Thursday, the case in court in Durban finally began delivering judgment for 3 people accused of the murder of British botanist Rodney and Rachel Saunders. 2 of the 3 accused, Aslam Del Vecchio and Fatima Patel, refused to leave the holding cells below the court to hear their fate. Only Musa Jackson, a Malawian national, sat in the dock as Judge Esther Stain began to lay out what the state says happened to the couple in 2018. The Saunders had traveled to northern KZN for work. They never came back. The accused allegedly ambushed them, killed them, threw their bodies into the Tugela River, where nature began to erase the evidence. 3 forensic experts worked through the remains. The first postmortem could determine neither the cause of death nor the sex of the victims. That's how bad this was. A dentistry expert later made a positive identification using dental records. A biological anthropologist found that a considerable number of bones had simply never been recovered. It emerged that Rodney had sustained multiple predatory injuries, blunt force trauma wounds, and showed signs of drowning. Rachel's skull had been fractured by random strikes, according to expert testimony. She also had stab wounds to the back of her body. Meanwhile, the accused wasted no time. The state's case said that they stole the couple's Land Cruiser, camping equipment, and a gold FNB credit card, and then went shopping. The witness told the court that they made purchases totaling 11,000 rand and punched a valid PIN number. On the next day, all 3 accused came back to the store, and the witness noticed that they were just randomly picking items without even looking at the prices. At the till, after paying with the card, the witness asked the accused 3, Jackson, if he was Dr. Saunders, and he replied that Dr. Saunders was his wife. When the employee said he needed to verify the claim, Jackson allegedly lunged across the counter twice, trying to grab the card back. All 3 of them then fled. By the time it was over, with the stolen card, they made more than 700,000 rand in purchases. Wow. And Del Vecchio faces another charge of malicious damage because he supposedly torched sugarcane fields stretching 20 kilometers that belonged to Tongat Hewlett, leaving the company with losses estimated 2.3 million 5 months before the double murder. The couple's family in the United Kingdom are following the judgment virtually on Microsoft Teams. And the trial continues next Monday. More white people murdered by vicious, evil people who hate white people in South Africa. Yeah, it's just ordinary crime. Everybody's a victim of crime, right? Targeted because they were white and elderly, most likely. President Ramaphosa assures the public that he will respect the rule of law. Make it stop. Make it stop. Ladies and gentlemen, we go now live to the residence of the President of the Republic of South Africa, where he's respecting the law. Whose law? The law of the jungle? President Ramaphosa reaffirmed his trust in South Africa's constitutional institutions amid an impeachment inquiry linked to the Pala scandal. Ramaphosa emphasized his focus on economic growth, job creation, and rebuilding state institutions damaged during the state capture era. He was responding to the debate on the presidency's budget in the National Assembly on Wednesday. Okay. My approach to this matter is guided, as it always been, by the supremacy of the Constitution and the rule of law. And why have you filed a nuisance lawsuit to delay the impeachment? Why? Why have you done that if you believe in the constitutional law? Platinum miner Wyatt, boy, that sounds like a BEE company, Wyatt, in talks to cut 500 jobs. What? Are they racist? Are they cutting jobs? Wyatt Platinum will start talks to cut 497 jobs in its anchor operation in South Africa as it goes around restructuring because it's led by people who are incompetent. Maintaining the current headcount of 706 employees at the Bakubung mine would not constitute a reasonable or sustainable course of action. So, wow, the plan to start talks under Section 189 South Africa's Labor Relations Act follows the director's decision to stop its 1 million tons per annum production, replace it instead with a single-stage ramp-up to an operation that will reach 3.5 million tons. So they're going to reduce production, or not, they're going to reduce their workforce while increasing their production. Interesting. Is Wyatt a racist BE company? Are they going to fire mostly black employees? Is the platinum market collapsing? No, it's not. They're ramping up production from 1 million to 3.5 million and reducing their workforce. Now go figure. Are they employing robots? Automation? How is that happening? Malawi has joined the crowd of black African nations who are fleeing South Africa's racist xenophobia and the murders of Mozambicans and Ghanaians. Malawi will repatriate its citizens after anti-immigrant attacks. The warm heart of Africa will welcome back its family. Yes, things are looking bad. The image of South Africa as the great beacon of democracy has finally been punctured as black Africans reveal the hideous treatment of their nationals in South Africa. Now, to be fair, most of the people we're talking about are criminal alien invaders who violated South Africa's sovereignty and have no business in the country. But that doesn't justify destroying their homes or businesses, attacking them in the streets, beating them, or murdering them. You simply deport them. Forensic probe indicates that it's highly unlikely that Sisi Tolasha's signature was forged. In other words, she did it. She did it. We know she did it. She's just like Ramaphosa trying to skirt the law. Yes. A forensic probe into the contract extension of former Social Development Director General said it was improbable that ex-minister Sisi Tolasha's signature was attached without her knowledge. The report recommends actions against the former Director General, Peter Netsipale, who left after his contract expired. Yep, so. Yep, more corrupt ANC cadres. Shameful, extremely shameful, say members of parliament who finally turn their attention to statutory rape. Will they next finally address teachers preying on prepubescent and pubescent girls in KZN, impregnating them, raping them, damaging them psychologically? Will they talk about that next? Sex for grades amongst premenstrual children. Will they talk about that? This is a scourge in KwaZulu-Natal, something that's simply not talked about. Or will they address the concept and the scourge of incest, men diddling their children? Will they talk about that? Probably not. But they're talking about statutory rape. Wow, Leanne Matis finally said something worth listening to. Where's her blonde hair? Where's her cultural appropriation? Did she remove her blonde hair? Over 5 years, 3,232 statutory rape cases were reported, with only 14% resulting in convictions. Wow. These cases are just the tip of the iceberg, as the crime of statutory rape is believed to go massively underreported. During his introductory remarks, committee chairperson DA MP Ian Cameron said, "Information before us paints a very concerning picture." Deputy Police Minister Polly Boshello shared his concern, saying normally some people don't even report it because it involves a minor. Well, one of the problems is that many times these children who are molested and raped by these adults, the family is dependent on them for income or where they live. All sorts of issues involved here. Of these cases, 1,853 or 57% were withdrawn. But according to the police, you cannot withdraw a case. It's illegal to withdraw a case. So on top of the crime of statutory rape for children being raped, we now have illegally police officers withdrawing cases. It's against the law in a statutory rape case to do that, according to this. What is going on? Well, Maggie, the Somalis are going to poison all food and drinks. How can they do that? They don't work in the food sector producing food, so they can only do it in tuck shops, and that's only going to affect black Africans. So if Somalis are going to murder blacks, that is the story. Africa's second largest copper producer, Zambia, is waiving taxes on 271,000 tons of copper exports, giving companies a waiver on the 10% export tax until September 30th because they cannot process the ore at smelting plants down for maintenance and repairs. A total of 271,742 metric tons of copper concentrate can be exported under this exemption, with major beneficiaries including Mopani Copper Mines, Lumwana Mining Company, First Quantum Minerals, Nkana Mining, Lubamba Copper, and Konkola. Doesn't sound like any Western companies there. Yep. Zambia exported 890,000 tons of copper in 2025 and wants to get to 3 million by 2031. Historically one of Africa's top copper producers. My goodness. First Quantum Minerals and Chinese-owned Nkana Mining and Minerals Processing were each awarded around 43 metric tons to export. As China tightens its grip on the critical mineral, Morocco is racing to open a new antimony mine. Morocco has granted Extract Resource a 10-year renewable mining license for its Amgas antimony project. The move comes as countries seek alternatives to China, which dominates the global antimony supply. If you're not familiar with antimony, it's a critical mineral used in defense systems, batteries, semiconductors, and flame retardant materials. It suddenly matters because of the new approach to AI and quantum computing. Antimony is important for that market. The Hezbollah leader has rejected the U.S. brokered ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel, and fighting continues. So Trump works a negotiation, and the Iran-backed terrorists refused to adhere to it. The leader of the Iran-backed Hezbollah today rejected the U.S. brokered ceasefire, saying the deal is not considered his group's demands and will require its fighters to surrender to Israeli forces. Naim Qassem served as Secretary General since assassination of Hassan Nasrallah in 2024, said the full withdrawal of Israeli troops from Lebanon is a non-negotiable condition for a stable ceasefire. Well, Mr. Naim Qassem, make sure your will is filled out because they're coming for you. You don't have much time left on this planet, so you should probably make your peace and sort out who's getting what you own. Israel flight, an Israeli airline, diverted to Croatia after being refused landing permission in Slovenia, made by Slovenian authorities who the company claims were politically motivated in their decision. An Israel flight scheduled to land in Ljubljana, Slovenia, was denied permission and diverted to Zagreb on Wednesday. The decision was reportedly made by Slovenian authorities, whom the company claims were politically motivated. Izer's CEO Uri Sirkis stated that this incident violated aviation agreements and European Union laws, and it does. Relevant Israeli authorities, including the Foreign Ministry and the Civil Aviation Authority, were involved in attempting to find a solution that would allow the flight to proceed as planned, but efforts were unsuccessful. But strangely, Slovenia has just voted in a strongly pro-Israel prime minister, marking a striking political shift after Slovenia's recent hostility towards the Jewish state, while apparently the airport in Ljubljana is still hostile. Janez Janša was reelected on May 22nd. This is his fourth time in the role. He previously had been prime minister from 2004 to 2008, 2012, 2013, and 2020, 2022. He leads the right-wing Slovenian Democratic Party. Under his predecessor, Robert Golob, Slovenia had become one of the most hostile countries towards Israel alongside Ireland and Spain. In May 2024, Slovenia announced its recognition of the Palestinian state. In July 2025, two government officials were sanctioned. Well, and now they're blocking flights, violating international aviation standards and norms, endangering the safety of passengers. These are officials who need to be relieved of their responsibilities. Satellite photographs show China illegally occupying the Scarborough Shoal. Satellite images obtained by Reuters confirm the presence of a structure at the entrance of the hotly disputed Scarborough Shoal in the South China Sea. Later imagery showed it was no longer there. The Philippines said Wednesday it was investigating reports about the presence of a new structure on the Scarborough Shoal, which China had at times attempted to block since it seized de facto control of the atoll in 2012. Photographs taken on May 27, 29, 30 show what an analyst at Vantor, commercial provider of satellite imagery, said was possibly a floating raft or a buoy at the opening of the atoll, in addition to barrier stretching across on May 27th and 29th images. On Tuesday, U.S.-based maritime monitoring group Sealight posted an satellite imagery taken May 28th, what describes a small reflective object clearly distinguishable on the reef flat near the lagoon entrance. Evidence suggests it is a persistent feature rather than a transient optical artifact, they said. Yep, the Chinese are at it again, threatening their neighbors illegally in land that they don't own, damaging the eco-environment. Germany has lost out on its bid to get a seat for the UN Security Council, losing out to Austria and Portugal. Good. The fascist Germans don't deserve to be on the UN Security Council. That's the last place they need to be. Germany lost a vote on Wednesday for a temporary seat on the Security Council. They need 2/3 majority votes for the wider General Assembly to land a temporary seat for the next 2 years. But they were out-competed by Austria and Portugal for Western Europe. Portugal received 134 votes, whereas Austria received 131. Germany got just 104 votes. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe and Trinidad and Tobago were each elected unopposed to seats reserved for the respective regions. Kyrgyzstan was also elected to a seat, beating out the Philippines. South Africa exits the Security Council, and good riddance. It should never have been on the Security Council. Greenland is part of Denmark. For now, says U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The U.S. is reported to have had 17 military facilities and more than 10,000 troops in Greenland at the height of the Cold War. Yes, that's true. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has reignited the flame over his U.S. continued pursuit of Greenland. While testifying before the House Foreign Relations Committee on Wednesday, he was asked by Congresswoman Sarah McBride, isn't that the transgender? Isn't that the dude who showed up as a woman? Whether he was aware that Greenland is indeed part of Denmark. For now, Rubio replied. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America. That's our territory. It is therefore a core national security interest, said Trump months ago. Wow. Wow. Okay, well, for now. Oh, my goodness. Trump administration let go of that Greenland thing. Unpatriotic. Trump strikes back at Republicans in Congress. Trump takes aim at lawmakers after the U.S. House passes war powers resolution, with 4 turncoat treasonous Republicans voting to constrain the executive powers in an unconstitutional piece of legislation, the war powers resolution. President Trump has condemned lawmakers, including members of his own party, for voting in favor of a resolution to rein in its ability to wage war with Iran. The statement on Thursday came a day after U.S. House of Representatives passed the so-called war powers resolution, which aims to limit Trump's war-making authority. Passed 215 to 28, with 4 turncoat Republicans joining the Demon Rats. And Trump is not happy, and rightly so. He rebuked them. In a post on Truth Social, the president wrote, yesterday in a meaningless vote, the House voted 4 bad Republicans and all the Democrats to limit my war powers right in the middle of my final negotiations to end the war with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Who would do such an unpatriotic thing? 100% agreed. Thank you for the super chat, Marius. Fun here in 70 Rand. Exactly right. Why would anybody? Can you imagine World War II? We got troops fighting Imperial Japan, island hopping, and we've got troops landing at Normandy, and the Democrats decide that they are going to pass a war powers resolution to limit President Roosevelt's ability to conduct the war. Seriously? These are unpatriotic, treasonous bastards, all 215 of them. They should all be primaried and removed from office. And serious lifestyle audits should be done of each and every one of them to find out what exactly they're all about. Yep, there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, California voted on Tuesday. The polls close 11 Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. California time. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard, Tuesday to Wednesday, 24 hours. Now it's Thursday. Add another 12 hours to that. That's 36 hours since the election ended. And California, while the Democrats are busy trying to steal the election, cannot report the final tally. Albania can report its vote total. The Congo, as chaotic as it is, can report the total faster than this. This is ridiculous. Only 56% of the votes are in as they try to overcome Steve Hilton's lead and get Tom Steyer into second place so that only 2 Democrats appear on the ballot. They are rigging the election again. Yes, that's what Trump is saying. Trump is saying He's launching a probe into California vote to stop the Democrats from stealing the elections. President Trump today accused the Democrats of trying to steal this week's California primary and said the Attorney General's office in Los Angeles, U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles, would investigate the surge of late mail-in ballots and the slow vote count. The probe would focus on Tuesday's jungle primaries for California and Los Angeles mayor, in which Republicans had strong performances and early results. The final results may not be known for weeks because the deluge of late arriving mail ballots, officials say, will take time to count. What do you mean late arriving? The ballots must arrive by Election Day. What is this bullshit allowing ballots to arrive? That's not an election. That's a scam. It's not election season. It's election day. You sent a ballot. If it didn't arrive on time, too bad. Trump said Democrats are trying to steal both the closely watched elections. The Democrats are at it again, he said. They're trying to steal the governor of California primary and the mayor of Los Angeles primary away from two great Republican candidates. Here we go with the very late and massive numbers of mail-in ballots. There's big cheating by the Democrats in California. Votes are all tied up. May not be for weeks under investigation by U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles. Why the vote counting delay? Yep. Under California law, election officials have up to 30 days after election to count every ballot and perform accuracy checks. California elections officials prioritize the right. Yeah, okay, whatever. As of Thursday morning, about 56% of the total votes have been counted. Yep. 62% of the ballots in the mayor's race for Los Angeles. This is embarrassing. 30 days to certify the vote, that's fine. But to give us the vote totals, they should have that. They should have those totals within 8 hours maximum after it happens. But they can't pull that off. A video shows a Pentagon counterterrorism hire who broke into the Capitol building on January 6th, according to the Washington Post. The Washington Post, while we're busy fighting a war, we're dealing with a bankruptcy of epic proportions, $40 trillion in national debt. We have anti-Semitic, Jew-hating Democrats attacking Jews all over the country, undermining our educational institutions. Oil prices are high. The economy is limping along, but it's still performing. And what is the Washington Post obsessed with? January 6th. January 6th. And in this case, I'm actually going to go along with their story. Elias Irizarry was filmed moving through restricted grounds and climbing through a broken window, according to Washington Post analysis. That supposedly is him in a screenshot. Regional appointee to a sensitive counterterrorism job in the Defense Department was filmed for more than 5 minutes during January 6th riot as he moved through restricted grounds and climbed through a broken window. The Washington Post reported Tuesday that Elias Irizarry, who was 19 at the time of the attack, was hired to a post in the Pentagon's Special Operations and Low-Intensity Conflict. The team's portfolio includes operations such as embassy security, personnel recovery, and hostage rescue. He pled guilty to a misdemeanor trespass charge in 2022 and was later pardoned by President Trump. The Post confirmed his presence in 5 videos by matching them with screenshots or photographs in court filings. In 2 of the other videos, clothing worn by him and his companions or presence together made the identification possible. He has not responded to messages seeking comment. In a statement, acting Pentagon Press Secretary Joel Valdez said that Irizarry is a qualified, patriotic young professional, and we are proud to have him as a political appointee. He drove from South Carolina to Northern Virginia with 2 travel companions to attend the Stop the Steal rally, according to prosecution's sentencing memo. He was a freshman at the Citadel, a public military college in Charleston. He and his friends listened to Trump's speech, but headed to the Capitol before the speech ended, according to the memo. Video shows he and his companions soon joined the throngs on the west side of the Capitol. In the early afternoon, seen wearing a red bandana and MAGA hat appeared to turn away from a crowd that encircled a group of law enforcement. Around 2:15, he weaved his way through the mob and then ascended stairs to terrace level. Look at all the effort they've gone to just to identify this kid. Yeah, see, look at that. Wow. Look at all that effort they've gone to. They're really demonically possessed. Now, here's the issue I have with this. How in the world can someone like that get a top secret security clearance? How in the world can you get a top secret security clearance when you broke into the Capitol building? It wasn't an insurrection. It wasn't a threat to democracy. This moron in 2023 apologized at his sentencing because he was afraid he was going to go to jail. He said, "I'm ashamed because I will always be part of this disgrace. January 6th represented something truly horrible. It was the largest attack on our democracy since the Civil War." Well, first off, his judgment, his lie there makes him unreliable. His walking into a restricted area, breaking into the building, climbing through a broken window makes him unreliable. This is a person that should not, but this is once again the hazards of political appointments. Just like, now the guy who's running the Office of Director of National Intelligence. The administration is making stupid appointments. Who is responsible for this person being appointed to such an important position? And why this, 12-year-olds are we putting in positions of authority when people with experience, the gravitas, the expertise, the knowledge, the judgment, and the leadership experience are not offered these positions? Yeah, this is a stupid move by the Trump administration, whoever did this. Over 7,100 Social Security Administration employees left last year. I told you this is one of the problems and one of the reasons why South Africans are having a hard time giving their Social Security numbers. It shouldn't be, but it is. More than 7,100 employees have exited Social Security Administration since last year. The departures reduced the agency's workforce by more than 13%. Came alongside consolidations, expanded use of artificial intelligence, and a push to move more services online. The shift at the Social Security Administration, where workers voluntarily exit through programs like early retirement, came as the White House laid off or offered buyouts to thousands of workers across the federal government in a bid to cut red tape. But at the Social Security Administration, there have been longer delays, mounting confusion, and growing barriers for some of the most vulnerable benefit recipients, like refugees. Wow. We've had many cases that are stuck in purgatory because they don't have enough workers to work them, says a Kansas City-based paralegal. They don't have enough workers to answer the phone to tell me what's happening to them. However, the Social Security Administration told the Post the service has in fact improved, with callers to the agency's national 800 number being served more than 80% more quickly than under the Biden administration, and wait times in field offices down 30%. Well, that doesn't speak to our experience with South Africans getting getting Social Security numbers. Researchers interviewed 52 benefits reps from 32 nonprofit organizations, collectively assist more than 8,000 people each year seeking Social Security benefits. And they said that things are not going well. A separate analysis by the Urban Institute found that disability benefit applications filed in their first year fell 7% compared to the same period last year. But we don't know if that's because there aren't enough workers or there are just less people claiming disability. Your Social Security check is likely to decline before I ever even take the first penny out of Social Security because I'm not old enough to do it. And I've said this for almost 40 years. I will never receive the money that I'm owed by Social Security because it will be bankrupt unless they increase the taxation again. Your Social Security check could be cut by up to $500 a month in 2032. Millions of Americans relying on Social Security could see their monthly benefit checks slashed by an average of $500 if the program's retirement trust fund becomes insolvent. The reduction would amount to a 24% cut in a typical benefit payment. Social Security's trust fund helps cover the gap between the program's income and benefit obligations, which have outpaced revenue as the baby boom generation retires and the number of beneficiaries grow. The cuts would impact 10 to 23% of each state's population. No state would be spared from potentially devastating effects of insolvency. States facing the largest benefit cuts are Connecticut, with an average of $556 per month cut in benefits. And it goes on. Wow. Unbelievable. Social Security cuts would prove devastating for the nation's retirees, as many rely heavily on the monthly payments. According to a survey released last year by the Senior Citizens League, a nonprofit advocacy group, 73% of retirees depend on Social Security, more than half of their income, while 39% depend on it for the entirety of their income. Social Security's funding issues would require action from policymakers. One such proposal would be to eliminate the income cap on income payroll tax, which exempts people who earn more than $184,000 from paying Social Security tax any amount above that. Yeah, well, are you going to give them more benefits when you take more money from them? Wow. As I've said, I will never see this money. Last year's report, which projected an insolvency date of 2033 for one of the key trust funds, known as the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund. The program would only be able to pay 77% of the current benefit amount according to Social Security. And the numbers are going to rise as the rest of the baby boomers retire. I'm going to approach that age a few years down the road, and I'm the last of the baby boomers, and all these people taking Social Security, it's a scam. It's funny how this country survived for over a century without Social Security. 150 plus years, no Social Security. People lived fine. They were taken care of in their old age. No one needed state assistance to survive. How do we manage that? And all those people didn't die. How do we manage that before the communists and the socialists in the Roosevelt administration destroyed this country? Senate Republicans axe $1 billion for Trump's new White House ballroom. Now, this is dishonest propaganda story from the BBC. It's factually correct. But of course, the problem with this story from the BBC is it neglects to tell you that the ballroom is being paid for with private funding. This is for security upgrades. U.S. Senate has voted to advance a stalled immigration spending plan after Republicans removed $1 billion in funding for President Trump's new White House ballroom. The $1 million was intended for Secret Service security upgrades as part of the construction. Trump has argued the new addition is necessary to host official state functions. He repeatedly said it would be funded by private donations. I'm sorry, they did include that, but they don't focus on that. In a 53-45 vote on Wednesday, senators agreed to move forward on the legislation funding agencies, including Immigration, Customs Enforcement, and Border Patrol. So all of this attacks on ICE, all of this nonsense been going on. The government shutdown, which caused suffering and pain for millions of people in the United States and around the world, including South African refugees who had their tickets canceled. All was unnecessary. The Democrats in the end have still funded this. 53 they voted. So yeah, it got passed. The Senate is set to vote on blocking Trump's controversial payout, which has already been dropped. So I understand why they're going to block it. They're going to pass legislation. This is all virtue signaling for the election. These are Republicans who are frauds. Yep, the Senate is set to vote Thursday on blocking Trump administration's aborted effort to create a controversial fund to compensate people who claim they're wrongfully prosecuted or investigated. The votes are expected to come as amendments to legislation to fund federal immigration enforcement agencies for the next 3 years. So they are going to block the payout that no longer exists. This is virtue signaling, and it's not legislating. Well, the United States is being invaded by another criminal alien invader. No, not Mexicans, not South Africans, not Venezuelans, not Haitians, not Kyrgyz, not Germans, not English, not Canadians, but another criminal alien invader. The flesh-eating screwworm. The New World screwworm has been detected in a 3-week-old calf in Texas. The New World screwworm larvae burrow into the flesh of living animals, causing serious damage to livestock and economic losses. The USDA and Texas officials are taking immediate action to contain and eradicate the pest. In December, the Food and Drug Administration granted conditional approval to the topical solution Exalt Cattle CA1, which is used to prevent and treat New World screwworm infestations, and it's produced by Merck. Oh, it's been detected in a 3-week-old calf in Texas. The new screwworm larvae burrow into the flesh. Protecting our livestock industry is a national security issue at the utmost importance. USDA invested heavily in the tools needed to eliminate New World screwworm ever since cases started increasing in Central America and Mexico. The United States has defeated this pest before, and it will do so again. Well, I hope so. That's pretty scary. Nasty stuff. U.S. crude oil stocks are declining because we keep selling oil to people abroad. Commercial crude stocks fell 8 million barrels to 433 million barrels last week. That's not the national strategic stockpile. That's just commercial crude stocks. But they include the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in that total. Dropped by 8 million barrels. So we are selling our oil and not holding on to it. But, I mean, that's what we have. Commercial crude oil stocks, we have over 440 million barrels stored. Yep. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve is at 357 million. U.S. crude oil production was steady at 13.7 million barrels per day. Under Obama, we were at 4.5 million barrels. Under Barack Hussein Obama, we dropped to 4.5 million barrels of oil per day. We are now producing 13.7 million barrels a day, more than Saudi Arabia. Gasoline inventories snapped a string of 15 straight weekly declines, rising by 3.4 million barrels to 215 million barrels. Thousands of unsold World Cup tickets for FIFA suddenly disappear from the FIFA website. What's going on? According to estimates from ticketdata.com, about 74,000 tickets were available directly through the organization until Saturday, at which point they fell to 44,000 and then under 30,000, which is where the total is now. Why the sudden inventory removal? Well, no one knows, but they're being investigated by New York and New Jersey, and rightly so. FIFA is a corrupt organization, and this entire World Cup is a joke. Yep, it's a joke. United States Marine Corps is retiring the Hawker Harrier attack jet. The VSTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, is going away. The United States Marine Corps on Wednesday celebrated the end of service the AV-8B Harrier II, the vertical takeoff and landing jet that's been an icon of marine aviation for 55 years. 55,000 people, Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point, North Carolina, watched as the jet showed off its capabilities and made them famous, including the ability to hover, to take off and land vertically. Yep. So this plane is being retired after 55 years of faithful service, being replaced by the F-35 Bravo stealth attack fighter bomber. That's a pretty long period of service. Of course, the Hawker Harrier was famously introduced to the world at large by the Falklands conflict. When the Brits sent troops to the remote Falkland Islands to defend it from the Argentine invasion, the Harriers were critical for that, being able to take off short range on ships. The Senate is reviving the immigration bill. Yep, that's back on the table. SpaceX is set for the world's largest initial public offering. $135 share price means Elon Musk rocket maker is poised to exceed the 2019 initial public offering of Saudi Aramco in both valuation and money raised. It will make him a trillionaire. SpaceX's Elon Musk rocket maker and artificial intelligence company set a price for its initial public offering of $135 a share, which would value the company at $1.77 trillion and crown it the largest initial public offering ever. At that price, they will raise $74 billion from the offering, which means they're only giving a fraction of the shares in the public offering. So that is, if it's $1.77 billion, or trillion, that is not even, that's about 3% of the stock that's being offered. And its valuation will be more than 40% higher than the 1.5 trillion that it valued itself back in February. The current IPO record is held by Saudi Aramco, which was valued at 1.7 trillion and raised $29 billion when it went public in 2019. My goodness. This is going to make him rich beyond all compare. SpaceX was founded in 2002. He controls 85% of shareholder votes because of a special class of voting shares. Wow. The company reported that it lost $4.9 billion last year compared to a $791 million profit in 2024 because of increased expenditures in artificial intelligence. Revenue was $18.7 billion last year, up 33% from the previous year. Ooh, that's going to be big. Big, 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 big. Big, 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 big. Well, according to a study, the National Guard's presence in D.C. had no measurable effect on violent crime. That's strange. Talk to people in D.C. Life's a lot better. Presence of more than 2,000 National Guard troops in D.C. since August 2025 has had no measurable effect on violent crime, according to a new report by the Niskanen Center. Researchers describe the deployment as an expensive tool used in the wrong places for wrong types of crime. They cite a $607 average daily cost per Guard member in the nation's capital, compared with $384 for the Metropolitan Police Department officers. National Guard was deployed primarily in high-visibility public places, exact location where opportunistic property crimes tend to occur and where visible deterrence is most likely to be effective. A uniform presence in tourist corridors and transit hubs is unlikely to interrupt a dispute between individuals with pre-existing ties to their own turf, according to this story. Robbery and other violent crimes DC have also seen a downward trend, but the policy think tank emphasized the effort was not a waste and acknowledged a 24% decline in opportunistic property crimes. So what's their beef? They say it didn't work, but then they say it does work. Sleep Number filing for bankruptcy. Too heavy a debt load. They reported 19% year-over-year net sales decline. Sleep Number is preparing to file for bankruptcy as the mattress maker contends that with a high debt burden and deteriorating financial performance, the Minnesota-based company is aiming to use Chapter 11 process to complete reorganization, will keep the business intact and may involve potential sale. Yeah, well, the company's earnings have been sagging, making it difficult to service its more than $600 million of debt. Shame. So Sleep Number is going to sleep. Breeze Airlines has cut 18 routes, and before you go, wait a second, what's happening to the airline? Bear in mind that Breeze Airlines is a startup. It's about 5 years old, just became 5 years old last month. And Breeze has taken on routes that are not serviced or underserviced or open routes that never had any flights for it. And this is experimental. You pick a route like the one they have in Lancaster. The one in Lancaster that I flew on with Breeze, which is about a 45-minute drive from here, instead of the 20-minute drive to Harrisburg, I went to Lancaster and flew to Orlando. That flight was fully loaded, going down and coming back. Clearly, they found a good demand spot, at least for spring and summer, to go to Florida. And so that flight is working, but not all flights work. 18 routes have been tried and pulled back. Interesting. Breeze Airways, one of the fastest growing airlines in the U.S., given that it's only 5 years old. That's perhaps unsurprising, since the first revenue-generating flight in 2021, the country's Department of Transportation shows Breeze has carried over 16 million passengers. But the U.S. vast aviation market means it's transported just one of every 313 passengers. Swiss Aviation shows that 88% of Breeze's fleet consists of the 137-seat Airbus A220, which is actually a Bombardier-developed jet. I've flown on it. It is a pleasure to fly on. This low-capacity equipment with good economics for the small size is well-suited to the airline's network approach. It seeks out thin markets that are either unserved at the time it launches or which have never had service before. As with any carrier, route churn is inevitable, though its more experimental nature means more services don't work. So they try them and they move on. So they removed 248,000 round-trip seats. That's less than 2% of the capacity. So when the route ended, January of last year, Orlando to Mobile ended. In February, Fort Myers to Bangor, Maine, Fort Myers to Stewart and Westchester, and then it just goes on and on. 16 routes removed. So here you can see it coming around. Let's drag to explore it. There you go. We'll zoom in. These are the routes. These are the 18 routes that they've removed. So, Breeze Airlines. Fantastic. Vandalism with disparaging hate speech left on the playground in York County, Pennsylvania. This is the county I live in. It's all the Jews' fault. Hitler was right, and on some things. Hail. This is disgraceful. Township officials confirmed to local CBS News 21 the local park in York County was vandalized over the weekend. The vandalism reported left on playground equipment at Emmetsville Park in Manchester Township. The slide was spray painted with a racial slur. Officials told the CBS the park was not vandalized on Friday. The damage was discovered on Monday during a maintenance check. The township said it was able to remove the vandalism within a few hours of discovery. Manchester Township condemns any type of vandalism at our municipal facilities and certainly deplore the type of disparaging hate speech associated with this defacement. They reached out to the Northern York Regional Police Department about the state's investigation and awaiting response. This is disgusting and should not happen in America. The U.S. Mint has launched a new gold coin. This one's fascinating. I wish I would show the backside of it. So, released May 28th. Listed price for the 2026 W Enhanced Uncirculated American Gold Eagle is $5,370. Coin News describes the coin struck at West Point, New York, as the first American gold eagle with the Mint's Enhanced Collector's Coin Finish. The Enhanced Uncirculated finish combines laser frost, which gives the shiny metallic effect, with laser finish gives a matte look. It allows for a unique, high contrast look. The product, which will be limited to 7,500 pieces, is currently unavailable, but interested buyers can sign up and be notified the next time it is in stock. The front features the dates 1776 to 2026 and Liberty Bell inscribed with the numeral 250, both highlighting the United States' 250th anniversary. A meticulously detailed eagle, according to the Mint, inscription is United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, in God We Trust, $50 and 1 ounce fine gold around the back. Each 22-karat coin is placed in a clamshell and black presentation case with the United States Mint seal on the lid. The case is put in outer sleeve with a limited edition 250th anniversary design. It's composed of 91.67% gold, 3% silver, and the rest is copper. Well, sign me up, man. Sign me up. How do I get one of those 7,500 coins? I want one of those bad boys. Of course, I don't have the $5,000, so I don't know how we come with that. Yep, United States Mint. Okay. How do I sign up for it? Here's a sign up. I've already been to that place. I'm going to sign up for it right now. Not that I'm going to buy it. Okay. Okay, I'm signed up. So here it is. Currently unavailable. Remind me. Oops. So, let's take a look. 1 ounce enhanced uncirculated coin. Lady Liberty. There you go. That's the front and back. That's awesome. Look at that. Oh, I like the Liberty Bell with the 250 inscribed on the left-hand side. That's pretty clever. There's the 250. Wow. Cool, cool, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the news for today, the 4th of June, 2026. And we have not reached the 127,000 subscribers. We're 8 away. 8 away, guys. 8 away. So, if we could get folks to sign up so we can get to that number today, it would be really nice. 8 subscribers away. You're welcome, Angelique, for the news. Price of gold is too high, expense now. Wait for the price to go down. Well, you can't wait because there's only 7,500 of them, so you're stuck buying at the high price. Heidi, coin revenue. Thank you for 35 rand. Ian sent me a WhatsApp. Okay, you and 3,000 other people. Thank you, Ian. You're welcome, Bussy, for the news. It's a nice coin, yep. Better than the Kruger, and probably. $91,000 math is correct. Yeah, I need a lot more super chat revenue, Heidi, to get one of those. If you lay $1 trillion worth of $100 bills and then the line would stretch for 96,000 miles. Yep, that's true, James. Federal agents just arrested tech CEO Yamshid Gomi. Well, good. Chris Ehlers is here. How's it going? And thank you all for the super chats. Can't even count to $1 trillion. Yeah, I'm with you, Track Bower. That's a lot. Very scary the way he took it apart. He obviously did not put it back the way it was. Please drive. What? What are you talking about? Screw worms. Nobody's dealing with it. Real nightmare if you have merinos. Oh, where are you from Meadow? Merino sheep? Is that what you're talking about? Thank you for becoming a member, Wraith Troll. Wraith Troll. They should get our Minister of Agriculture to deal with that. Oh, did somebody give some more memberships? Yes, they did. Okay. Thank you for that. Mandy Chardon. Okay, what else you got here? Angeles, hopefully you had a good day. I had such crap out. My day has not been great. I got late, sleep very late. I had to book my flight to Atlanta. Okay, so now, what's going on there? Why is my arm so shiny right there? Is that like something sticky on there? All right, so I will plan on a meet and greet on the 13th of June in Greenville, South Carolina. If there are folks in the Greenville area, let me know. Let me know. Thank you, Hank, for the 70 Rand super sticker, super chat. Greenville, South Carolina, 13 June, the next meet and greet. Anybody that's going to be there, anybody that wants to come to it, I need a champion to organize it. If anybody is in the area that knows the refugees, I know there are refugees there. So that is the plan, 13 June. All righty? All righty. What has happened to Social Security? They're corrupt? No, they're just too large, too big for their britches. Mari says, it's cold in Johannesburg. Okay, sorry to hear that. You guys are chatting quite a bit tonight. Thank you for that. That drives people to the channel. Gavin Newsom is making a law against investigations like the... that's a crazy state. Hermanus Johannes Erlung, 70 Rand super sticker. Thank you for that. And that takes me back as far as I can go. All kinds of stuff coming in now. What are you guys up to? Heidi gave 5 memberships. Thank you for that, Heidi. Pizza Party, looking forward to your analysis tomorrow about how many have gone over. It'll be tomorrow night. So for South Africans, it'll be early morning. I won't have that information probably till about 7 in the evening. That's when they usually publish it. And then I have to analyze it and I have to make things. So I need to probably start making a slide. Tomorrow on the program, folks, Teo de Jager from SAI will be on the program talking about the Sakalika victory against Johnny Boy Steenhuisen and his desire to prevent the vaccination of cattle and let only the communists do it instead of letting farmers do it. So Teo de Jager will be on the program tomorrow. On Sunday, Vimpy Kohn will be on the program, a refugee resettled in Cleveland, going to talk about Cleveland experiences with refugees. On Monday, Professor William Humeda will be on the program talking about his recent op-ed. And then on Tuesday, I think I have someone else. I'm drawing a blank on who it is right now. So we've got guests galore. And on Saturday, it's the Bulls on the road in Glasgow, followed by the Stormers on the road at Leinster. I think the Bulls have a better chance of winning. I hope both win. That way, if the Bulls and Stormers win, if they could pull it off this weekend, it would be epic because that would mean the final is in Cape Town. Yep, in 2 weeks' time. So that would be so cool. Hank, thank you. 70 Rand for the coin. Thank you. And Chardon also for the coin, I guess. Yaku Schultz, upgraded membership. Master and Commander. Thank you, Yaku. Oh, that's right. Also, that's, I've got, okay, I think that's what it is on Tuesday. Hang on a second here. Let me just a second real quick. Yeah, Tuesday I've got S.J. Duvanaga. S.J. Duvanaga will be on the program. So that's who it is, Tuesday. So Friday, Teo de Jager. Saturday, rugby. Sunday, Vimpy Kohn. Monday, Professor Gomeda. Tuesday, S.J. Duvanaga. There you go, folks. There you go. Yeah, the BMW plans. I hope I have time to swing by the BMW museum. That would be so cool. That'd be so cool. Anyway. You're welcome for the news, Chardon. My pleasure. So that's a pretty, I almost forgot about this. That's S.J. Duvanaga. I knew I had somebody on Tuesday. So it's S.J. Duvanaga. Tuesday. Okay, 10:30. Okay. All right, man, that's pretty full. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, booked up. And then I fly next Friday to Atlanta. Hotlanta. Yep. Well, I have exciting things coming up. You guys have exciting things coming up. I have work to do. It's all work for me. Some of these interviews are fun for me, but all of them are work. Okay. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done. We haven't even hit 2,000 views yet. Come on, we can make that happen. 300 likes, that's pretty cool. Thank you for 354 people currently here. I do appreciate that. So did you guys like my latest song? That's the theme song we've come up with now. Lambs in Line. That's my theme song we play for the channel. Of course, then we also got the other one, and I kind of really like that one. That was pretty cool. That's about, human rights for humans. Oh, yeah, baby. Human rights for humans. That was pretty good. I like that one.
Lads, gather round now. Pull up a chair, grab a pint, and let me tell you the curious tale of little Ronnie and the giant.
Little Ronnie and the giant.
Hey! Well, down in Cape Town Parliament, beneath the cameras bright, a minister stepped boldly up to lecture wrong from right. Ronnie waved his finger high with all the wisdom he assumes, then tripped upon his own big words and crashed across the room. He called across the ocean wide to 70 million souls, declared them all barbarians with hearts as black as coal. He thundered they deny the rights all decent folks demand, then accidentally mocked himself before the whole damn land. Human rights for humans, well, who else would they be for? The goldfish and the parakeets, the donkey at the store. Human rights for humans. A genius takes the floor. He opens up his mouth so wide his boot comes flying out once more. Now Ronnie climbed the ladder fast, though no one quite knows how. Perhaps the ANC was drunk when they anointed him somehow. From justice to foreign affairs they proudly gave promotion, as every speech he makes creates a fresh diplomatic commotion. He spins tall tales and nonsense lines with confidence absurd. Half the pub starts laughing before he's finished every word. The journalists keep writing it, the diplomats all groan, while Ronnie keeps on rambling like a bagpipe badly blown. Human rights for humans, raise another pint and cheer. The deeper that the lad thinks, the less sense we all hear. Human rights for humans, the philosophy profound, like a rooster giving lectures while he's pecking at the ground. Oh, brave little Ronnie marched up to the mic to wrestle the giant America. But the giant just blinked and scratched his great chin, while Ronnie kept shouting hysteria. He called them racists, villains too, with outrage loud and grand. But half the world just tilted heads and asked, what's wrong with this man? Oi! Fill it up again, boys! Every pub from Cork to Joburg laughs into their beer. Whenever Ronnie gives a speech, the punchline soon appears. For every mighty giant needs a comic little foe, and Ronnie plays the part so well wherever winds may blow. Still, perhaps we should thank the lad for all the joy he brings, for few men turn diplomacy into comedy routines. He may not grasp philosophy or history or facts, but saints above he gives the pubs material by the stacks. Human rights for humans, sing it loud and sing it clear. If wisdom were a whiskey shot, Ronnie'd still want beer. Human rights for humans, the scholars all applaud, for no one else could make a phrase sound quite so strange and odd. Human rights for humans, now lift your mugs once more and pray the next great speech he gives ain't dumber than before. Ronnie lad, next round's on the philosopher. Hi!
Human rights for humans. Who else would they be for? The parakeets? Oh, Ronald the Mullah can't go off script. And when he does, he opens his mouth and puts his foot right in there. You won't be able to watch on Tuesday. Well, you can watch after the fact. At the end, Charlotte is a bridge too far. This is a documentary with a British film crew that's actually a South African who owns the business, and they sell content to media outlets. And all content cannot be altered, so they control it, and they pay for it. So they're coming over to film the World Cup. They're going to go to DC, do some stuff. We're going to talk to refugees down there, and they're paying for my flight. So I have to have the flexibility to, go where they want to go. So we've worked out a trip. We'll leave Atlanta, go to Greenville, South Carolina. From Greenville, we'll come back. We're going to meet with a South African family in Monroe, Georgia, waiting to see whether that's going to be on or off camera, but they're going to do with them. And then also going to be interviewing Neil Diamond from the South African Chamber of Commerce, USA, SACUSA. With any luck, we'll do the meet and greet on Saturday evening. Maybe do some other interviews if people are in Greenville, but I don't know of anybody in Greenville. I need help with Greenville, okay? Yeah, the accent on the song is funny. It's going from Irish to Cornish in place. Yes, that's a good point there. I wasn't going to mention that, Fleshin. Yeah, there is a Cornish accent in there. That's pretty funny. Thanks for the news. If you have time, please see message from Yannicka. Thank you. Some extra coins. Well, thank you, Loretta, for this 35 Rand. It's very kind of you. So I'm not human according to Lamola now. How shocking, says Sparky. By the way, so what's his name from Kentucky? He told us yesterday that the cultural orientation he went to in Kentucky with other refugees, 80% of the refugees were black Africans. And of course, no refugees have come here since January of last year other than South Africans and a handful of Afghans. So how do black Africans get this free refugee service at least a year or more since their arrival? Because these agencies are paid for 5 years. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to point out. 5 years. 5 years. That's the short I want to do after this. So, yeah, that's the truth of the story, and people simply don't want to believe it, and they just want to. And so here's the risk. I'm going to caution South Africans who are refugees. When your agency says they're done with you and they're pissed off with you, don't accept that. You don't cash me out. I'm not done with you. You owe me help doing my green card application 12 months after I arrive. You're paid for that. You have to do that. If you don't do that, I will report you to the Office of Refugee Resettlement. Simple as that. That's a violation of their contracts. Violation of their contracts. You must do that. Must do that. So, yeah, anyway, so back to what he said. So for people in here moaning about their case, and look, I'm sorry, my empathy is getting thinner and thinner here because this isn't a crying session. If people need counseling, then they need counseling. This isn't the place for it. Yesterday, he met and talked to a Nigerian, and where was the other person from? I forget. Was it Rwanda or Somalia? I forget. 17 years. 17 years living in a refugee camp. The one that was in East Africa. 17 years before they got approved for refugee status. And people have been waiting 12 months. And they haven't applied 12 months ago because of a statement of interest. Before that, it was a PRM email. There were no applications until November. And people are losing their minds over this because they're not listening to my advice. If you only listen to me from the outset, first off, no one's entitled to come here. No one. I'm not entitled to reside in South Africa. That's up to the South African government to give me permission to reside there. I can visit, but I can't reside there without their permission. No one is entitled to come here. It's as simple as that. And this is a gift. And if you'd followed my advice and put your interest in, then put your intake questionnaire in when it came along and moved about with your life as if nothing had changed, you'd be much happier. But people don't listen. I know people last year were called up in May. I think they went up there last year. They canceled their lease. They quit their jobs. They packed their car and they drove to Pretoria. They went for the interview and then they sat there and waited. And then after they exhausted all their money, they contacted me. Colonel Wyatt, why are we still here? I said, what do you mean why are you still there? Now, I met these people. I know these people. I said, what do you mean? I met them in another part of the country. I mean, what do you mean still there? Where? In Pretoria. I'm like, yeah, that's a good question. Why are you in Pretoria? Well, how come we haven't gone to America yet? I said, gone to America? Were you interviewed? Yes, 2 weeks ago. Okay, why didn't you go home? Well, we got rid of our leases and we quit our jobs. Why? Because we're refugees. No, you're not. You haven't been approved. You haven't gotten tickets. You haven't been relocated. Why in the world would anybody do that? People did that last year. No one told them to do that. No one told them to do that. No one told them to do that. And they were angry. Well, that's nobody's fault but their own. I mean, if the South African government told you they're going to do something, would you relocate to another part of the country and get rid of everything you own just because the government of South Africa told you something? Look, I mean, the things that people have done with this program are crazy. All right, Chardon, be careful. Be careful. Yeah, people still doing those silly things, selling their property and disclose just getting rid of everything. I don't understand where people come from. Where does anybody presume that any of this is written in stone that they're going to get anything until you're in the United States? Look, I know of a person who was arrested at the airport in South Africa. I haven't disclosed the story, waiting for an outcome on this, but someone that was arrested some time ago at the airport and detained over a criminal charge that didn't exist, but it was still listed in the docket, so couldn't leave the country. Still stuck in South Africa. Got rid of everything. Now, that's not that person's fault because that person actually had tickets and they passed the vetting and was coming to America. I think what happened is that someone that was envious or doesn't like that person fraudulently reactivated that criminal charge inside the database so that when they tried to leave the country, Home Affairs said, nope, you have a pending case against you, and they put them in custody. Yep. Hey, Martin. Spoke to your friend Alberton. She applied May last year, did question in November. Have not got approved yet, so people must just be patient. Yep. Process makes us emotional from time to time. We're very grateful. No, pizza party, I get that. But coming here and complaining about isn't going to solve your problem. I mean, I don't have a magic wand. Nobody does. I appreciate people need to vent, but venting is one thing. But anyway, I don't understand people who get rid of all their stuff. That's not an emotional response. That's a foolish response. Where are people getting? See, the thing that irritates me is what happens for some people. I'm not talking about anybody in the chat today. Some people never watch my program, or they watch it and they just disappear. Then they make stupid decisions. Then they come back and waste my time by calling me unsolicited or sending me WhatsApps unsolicited or sending me emails and telling their tale of woe about what terrible situation and can they get help. But they don't watch my program, but they demand free help from me. It's something else. It's cheeky beyond belief, because if they simply listened to my advice, they wouldn't be in the situation they're in. Oh, yes, Heidi. It's so, well, even more important, that person's spouse came to America that night. Yep. So now the spouse is in America and the other spouse is in South Africa. The charges have been dropped, but now the person has to go through the process. Wow. Chris hasn't got anything. Yeah, Chris, I hear you, brother. I hear you. Oh, it is heartbreaking, Heidi, and there are so many more stories about it happened to refugees that I have not shared. One day I'll be able to tell that story, hopefully. I mean, for instance, the lady who was shot. We haven't had her on yet. That reminds me. Yeah. Gosh, that reminds me. I haven't heard from her in a while. We were going to get her on the weekend. So, yep. Yep. PRM still here. Jaretha, I assume correctly that you did this statement of interest and then the intake questionnaire. What must people do if they pass the vetting clean and hear that they have a criminal charge but they haven't done anything criminal? There's really nothing they can do, Shiro, because that's... Okay, first off, if you pass the vetting, then we don't know about a criminal charge, so why would it matter? If, however, Home Affairs stops at the airport, that's a domestic issue for South African authorities. We have no control over that. That's something you're going to have to deal with South Africa. This is why I've told you all from the very beginning. Some people listen, some people don't. Keep it to yourself. Keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. Operational security. There are vindictive people. I gave the case last year example of the brother who sent a PRM email expressing interest in the program. His loudmouth, vindictive, evil shrew of a sister told his employer, and he was sacked. Hasn't had a job in a year now because of his shrew of a sister. Who does that to a family member? Who does that to a loved one? Who does that to someone they care about? Obviously, she's an evil wench and doesn't care about him. Keep your mouth shut. Loose lips sink ships. Nobody's business that you express an interest in the refugee program. Nobody but your family. And even then, be circumspect who you trust. Oh, it's Heidi. It's a true story. Look, I mean, the horror stories that I know about this program are shocking, absolutely shocking. We also have the refugee who did one of the songs about me. Single lady, went to Omaha, Nebraska. Mohammed, or whatever his name was, didn't check the apartment, wrote off that he inspected the apartment. It was safe for habitation, put her in it. She's knackered after flying from South Africa to the East Coast, to the Midwest, to Chicago, then on to Omaha, 30, 40 hours of flight, gets here, knackered, puts her in the place. She lays down, she falls asleep. Thankfully, the breeze changed or something. It must have been a window open and fresh air came in because she woke up nauseated and vomiting. She had carbon monoxide poisoning because the heating system was defective. If she hadn't woke up, the day she arrived in the United States after going through this entire process, she would have died. She would have perished. This is the level of neglect that are taking place by some of these refugee agencies. Proudly brought by Stored 50 Rand. Thank you for that super sticker. Yep. Chris says, my sister would do that to me. I'm not surprised, Chris. Your situation, your personal situation, some people just can't cope with that and they take it out on people, which is a shame. Oh, Vanessa says, oh my soul. You guys don't know these stories? I mean, I've told these stories over and over again. This is true. This is what happened in Omaha, Nebraska. Oh, Heidi remembers that story. Yep. Cool Beans, you've taken the right approach. You've told nobody because you look like a... Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because people just, in your situation, particularly which was rather public, it's best just keep it quiet. Yep. Andres, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Martin says, life must be grateful in millions with less. Be thankful for little. Yep. Tell no one. Yep. I'll come clean. I've had 3 traffic fines in my 43 years in this planet. Well, a traffic fine is not going to get you arrested, James. Not unless there was more to the incident than just, a citation. Yep. No, look, and people are nasty. They're really, really... Look at this evil, demented, lunatic shrew who keeps stealing my content and going, ooh, you should unsubscribe from his channel. He poisons puppies. He kills dogs. This is the character of this person. What a demented lunatic that say that. What's going on, Barney? How you doing, man? Can I get some frickin' sharks with lasers? Let's talk about evil. The fruits of the devil. Hey, buddy. You got a wet nose. He kills puppies! Oh my gosh. It's just... Look, I'm sorry, but it's just too funny. It's too funny. Yes, I know, Loretta. They're going to send you back, which involves another trip, which sucks. It's not fair. Shiro says, what do you apologize for, Shiro? Nobody has to apologize for not being here, but thank you for being here. What I do ask people is go watch my videos, man, because the videos need help. YouTube is clearly just blocking my videos now. 2,000 views. I mean, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos I've done in 3 days, and none of them gone over 7,000 views. That's why I quit making videos in November of 2024, because it just wasn't, juice wasn't worth the squeeze. And that's what I was getting. I was getting 1,000 views, 2,000 views back then with a subscriber base of 20,000. Now I have almost 127,000 subscribers, and I'm getting 3,000 views on those videos. These are poignant, insightful videos, and I'm getting 3,000 views. That just ain't right. Something's definitely wrong there. Definitely wrong. Okay. Your family didn't even know up until last week. Okay, Sally, good move. Okay, on Austin Powers, but with a dog, exactly. Many don't think she is a demented lunatic and believe her, saying they've seen proof because of clips you posted. Hopefully it doesn't get picked up by the media. Well, the media can pick up whatever they want because it's a lie, and I'll sue the media. I will sue them. Them I'll sue. And don't worry, I'll be soon making a video about the dogs. One of my favorite creatures on this planet is a lovely little dog, and Cooper and I are friends, so Cooper and I are going to make a video. Provided my friend allows me to do that, which shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. South African guy nailed for trying to transfer 158 million out of the country. Oof. I remember the stories. My brother and I don't trust who I don't trust knows about me in the program because I had to address that issue. Okay, yeah, Karen. Gotta love the shadow ban, exactly. Oh no, it's a lot of people, Werner. But I mean, it's YouTube is I don't know what they're doing. It's really people. Why people aren't going to put the effort in? Janine Williams, sorry I missed that. Welcome to the team. Okay. Toothbrush for your dog, Colonel. Well, you know, that person in their group has been banning people left and right and says you can't talk about Antoinette and the South African ladies help group who help people. So she doesn't want to help people because she doesn't want anyone talking about Antoinette's group because it takes the shine off of her pathetic little life. And she says they won't tolerate anything about Professor G, who's an attorney. So she doesn't want the truth, and not me because, you know, she's in love with me. So anyway. Federation's arrested text. Yeah. Someone said that already last domino. Thank you for that. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. I love it. I love it. Yes, that's a bathrobe. That's right. That's right. That's who they're talking about. That's who they're talking about. I need 8 more subscribers, guys. Oh, yeah, Project X and the and all those people were wrong. All those people were wrong. Where are they at now? Where are these slanderous, treasonous little bastards, these ferrayas at now? Oh, you're wrong. Oh, he's misleading people. He told people it costs more than $200 to send pets to America. Yeah, because it does. These righteously indignant asswipes who don't know anything and run their mouths come into my chat, insult me, attack me verbally, disrespect me, and they're wrong. And they're wrong. They're wrong about everything. Everything. And they lie. They manipulate. Look at the little hate wanker, the little self-loathing hate wanker who lives in the Netherlands in the garden route, who's taking my videos and putting false laugh tracks to them and splicing videos together and claiming it's not altered. Another pathetic loser. You're welcome, Joe Sieberhagen. That is a cool name, Sieberhagen. I love that. Because she's mentally unstable, Knight of Justice. Mentally unstable. Yeah, so that you're right, that whole pet lift thing, that whole thing. And I got attacked. And what about the lady who outed herself about Woodmead, the raid on Woodmead? You wrote a song about me. I don't know what she was drinking that night, but she clearly is delusional. Then she goes on attacking me in this WhatsApp thing, trying to get me to say something so she can steal the screenshots and go, see? But I didn't bite. Yeah, she went on and on for pestering me for like an hour. And she's like, you just don't like strong women. Really? Really? Wow. That's like the bathrobe lady, you know, last year when she attacked me, she slandered me in a video, the first one ever, and she was factually wrong about everything she said. And she tried to make fun of me, so-called colonel, because she's a dingback lunatic who's too lazy to do research and know that I'm actually a colonel, you piece of shit. Anyway, yeah, I can say that on my program, but I don't want it in the chat because it sits there. So she attacked me last year, and then she attacked me by name. I responded politely saying, you know, a person made a video about me and they got this wrong. I didn't even mention her. Then she, you attacked a poor woman. Man, I'm not attacking that lunatic. I'm not even mentioning the lunatic's name, right? Yes, I am saving a life. I'm living rent-free in the minds of a bunch of lunatics, mostly in South Africa, but also here in America. Yep. What did the writer say? Andres, go and unsubscribe, resubscribe, select all. That's what you have to do. Let me show you this. I'm going to do this very quickly here. Let me pick morning shot. We'll do morning shot, okay? Yeah, RSC doesn't give a crap. Why would you think RSC gives a crap? Oh, wow. Man. Vaynet's got a huge audience, man. So let me go to morning shot and show you how you do this, okay? Morning shot, okay? All right, so I am subscribed, okay? Let me show you something. So here's what you got to do. If you're not getting the videos, try this. Refresh your page. This does help sometimes, okay? So there's morning shot. You'll see that I'm subscribed. It's gray here. So I'm going to click on that. It says all notifications, right? So that's what you should have. But I get 0 notifications from Morning Shots. So I'm going to unsubscribe to his channel. I'm going to refresh my page. And then I'm going to subscribe again and see if I start getting notifications the next day or so. I haven't got any notifications from it. When you subscribe, it doesn't pick you by default to all. You got to subscribe. Then you got to go to all. Personalized is no good. All notifications, okay? And that's what you have to do. So do that on my channel, and hopefully that'll help. Debbie, thank you for 35 Rand. Hunter Biden is not going to run for president. He can run, but he's not going to get any votes. Luva says, poison puppy fight. Thank God I'm a cat person. Yeah. No, Delia, RSC doesn't give a crap. Why should they give a crap about you? They're contractors. Do Home Affairs give a crap about you? Does SAPS give a crap about you? Does Danelle give a crap about you? No. They're not paid to give a crap about you. They're just a provider. They're just a provider. They're putting round pegs in square holes, which doesn't work, or square pegs in round holes. That's all they do. They are a service provider. They're a contractor. Why would they care about you? They don't care about me. They don't care about anybody. They care about getting paid. Light travels faster than sound. That's why some people appear bright until they open their mouths. Heinrich, that's a good one. I like that. Thank you, Debbie, for 35 Rand. Well, Pizza Party, it's because you don't understand their case. There's an outstanding case against them, and that may have something to do with it. There's no spite. Spite. Okay, come on. So spite. Who has spite towards you, Delia? Come on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and play this game. I'm not gonna block you. Well, who is spiteful? Tell me who's being spiteful towards you and why they're being spiteful. Please explain. See, that's just sour grapes. Back that up. What I've seen happens if you're watching some other people's videos a bit more lately, for some reason notifications get moved down, only up the top people on your list. Okay, thank you, Werner. On the next episode, Days Are Lives, as the world turns. Yeah, Neff says, explains why I don't get notifications from Morning Shot. And I don't get them for I do get Ronaldo's videos appearing at For You page when I go there. They'll be there. But I don't get notifications. And for Morning Shot, I don't get notifications, and it never appears at For You. Yeah, it never does. It's clear Saps doesn't give a crap about you. Yep, you're right. It's been 5 years. Wow. Shiro. So, okay, Stelia, that episode was 5 years ago. You've been waiting a year to leave, and you're approved. That's 1 year. And you're upset with Americans. Puppies and barbecue germ. Oh, yes, Delia, you're right about that. Okay, I'll buy that. Spiteful on the South African government's perspective. You've just backed up what you said, Delia. I'll agree 100% what you said there. That's why I was asking. It wasn't clear whether you meant RSC, USCIS, or the South African government. I'm 100% with you, Delia. South African government spite. Absolutely. 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 Okay, part of the process to understand the level they will stoop. Oh, you think I don't understand? I worked in diplomacy. I do know the level of stoop to. Trust me. Can't find Hen on Facebook. Can I send you my number via to pass to Hen via you've seen? Sure, Angelique, that's fine. See you later, Werner. Get the Morning Shot notification, but it's not showing my feed. I like that. Sour grapes are just raisins that failed their anger management classes. That's good. I like that one. Anyway, wow.
Daarop, zodra ik nou klaar is, maar eerst is het nou tijd voor een advertentiebreek wat ik moet spelen.
Well, Cool Beans, that's not exactly helping your case. That's not helping your case, writing things like that. So I'm going to do you a favor, and I'm going to delete that statement. That is not going to help your case. That does not, you do not look well. That does not come off well. So that may not be in your intent, but it didn't come off well. So I'm going to delete that. Okay? So that was to help you, Cool Beans, because you just made a juvenile mistake you should have made. What happens after Trump? We train someone to take his place? No one ever gets trained. No one ever gets trained. Nobody gets trained. No, he doesn't train anybody to take his place. But good leaders do mentor people to succeed. And that's what I always did everywhere in my jobs. I always said that I have to train my subordinates to do the job when I'm not here. Because I'm in combat. Mortar round could explode. I could be dead. I could get taken out by a sniper's bullet. Could die of dysentery. We're all replaceable. Every person is replaceable. Everyone can be replaced. Everyone. No, big fish. Some people don't learn. First president can train someone because he knows how to be president. I don't know about that. Sour grapes are so bitter because they spent their whole lives clinging to others. That's a good one too. Body's back. Thank you for 50 Rand. Okay. Have you seen Mornay's latest video? He went off on people lying about American soldiers' death numbers and reasons. No, I don't watch that guy. That guy lied about me, and I don't watch him. No, I invited him to Dallas, and he was a disrespectful shithead. So no, I don't watch him. I don't watch his videos. I have no interest in his videos. I have not exposed him for the things he's misled people about, but so I don't care to get down in that dirt pit. But no, I don't watch that guy's videos. So what was the issue, James? Tell me what he said. GB Bates is a former Rhodesian, former Zimbabwean farmer. Whereabouts, man? Were you in Montebello land or in the Eastern Highlands? Yep. Yeah, Vorosky says, silence is gold and keep your plans yourself. That's a puppy sacrifice happened in front of Al Demon's dad show. Hateful farmer. You're too funny, man. You book you. She's funny. She's funny. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Mount Darwin there. Thank you for sharing that, Bates. Appreciate that. Yeah. Sorry what happened there. I covered that extensively in the intelligence community for years. Yep, and I covered it quite a bit here on the program. We used to do Rhodesia Day every year in November. Yep. We've also played, Scooby's music, Scooby, and others, Yep, what a time it was. All our friends abandoned us. What a time it was. Everything seemed so clear. And all we did was wrong. Just have to say every encounter we've had thus far is really positive. Well, that's good to hear, Miss V. I'm glad to hear that. People say more than 500 U.S. soldiers have died, but that's because of an NDA. The government can say they died in a car crash to hide the truth. 500 U.S. soldiers died where? In Iran? No. Ask a refugee group that Hendo runs for help. You collect my unburst person who insisted they take me to MIA. Oh, you need a ride. Okay, Karen needs a ride. Karen needs a ride. From what town, Karen? And we'll see if we can't get somebody to give you a ride. You got to be careful who we get to give you a ride, that they're a reliable person. Yeah, James, I don't know anything about 500 soldiers dying. The number of U.S. soldiers that have died in the Iran conflict is what, about 16, I think it is, if that many? Let me see. Let me see what it publicly says. So what did that person say? Did they agree with the figures, or did they agree that they think it's 500? How many U.S. casualties in the Iran war? Okay. I said 16, it's 13. 381 wounded. Okay. Most of the minor injuries are shrapnel, things like that. Concussions. Official statistics come from the Department of War. And CENTCOM reports it as well. Military Times covers it. The Intercept has a report. Let's see what they come up with. When was this story from? It's from April 22nd. Nick Turse. Nick Turse is a hateful person. He hates America. How clowns like this get a job, kill me. Okay, here's the casualty report from the Iran War. Okay, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation New Dawn. This is as of January, so this won't have the Iran. So that's out of date. Unless, hang on. Yeah, that's out of date. That's useless. So, gonna have to go to war. That's out of date. How does that happen? Okay, search Iran casualties. See if that shows up. No results. Yeah, well, that's useless. So, anyway. Military Times. This is the most reliable figure. Okay, 13 killed, 380 wounded. This was updated on April 8th, so that's why I think there's 16 now. 346 wounded, 231 soldiers, 63 sailors, 33 airmen, 19 Marines. 25 of those troops have been treated in Landstuhl, and some were evacuated to Bethesda. Yeah, for burns. So, I'm not sure. I don't understand what this casualty thing is. So please come back to me and tell me what you're talking about. Well, Heinrich, no, we do have boots on the ground because Iran is attacking its neighbors. We have troops in Bahrain, troops in Kuwait, troops in Saudi Arabia, troops in Iraq. And so, yes, there can be U.S. casualties. There can be. He went off on them for dishonoring soldiers that lost their lives in service. So who's dishonoring who, James? I mean, obviously, I haven't seen the video. Who's dishonoring who? You're giving me partial stuff, man. Dishonoring people who? By not acknowledging that people are dead? Trump has gone to Delaware or to Dover Air Force Base for the dignified return of remains, so I'm not sure. Pre-screen interview tomorrow, but still didn't get link. We'll get tomorrow. Okay, well, Bambi, good luck with that. No, I got you, Heinrich, but I mean, but we're talking about casualties because James brought up the topic casualties, saying another content creator was angry, and he's a right to be angry. But I mean, I want to know what he's angry about because I don't understand. I don't understand. There's Cruiser Phoenix, what's going on? Cruiser Phoenix, aren't you the one that sent me a CV? Maybe I got it wrong. Oh my goodness. I did you another favor, okay? That's the second favor I've done you. Next time is a timeout. You're not learning. You're not learning. James, thank you. I'm not going to give the view. I'm not going to give the view. The person was insulting and disrespectful to me for no reason whatsoever. I graciously invited the person to come to my Dallas meet and greet, and they were an asshole about it. So, no, I'm not going to bother watching the video. So, that's fine. It's not best that I watch it. I don't watch that stuff. Don't watch that stuff. I don't. I'm not going to get involved with that content creator. I'm not going to disparage that content creator. I have no interest in that content creator. You raised the topic that was interesting, and so I addressed it. Whoever the content creator was really isn't germane. It could have been Nick Fuentes for all I care. Yep. Anyway. Latora says, I swear that puppy Karen was a HOA president. You don't mess with military as perimeter. The U.S. Army. Okay. Is that what was said? All right. Now I have to watch the video. So, the U.S. Army pays soldiers to keep quiet on the actual number. Who believes that shit? Who believes that? Someone who's never served in uniform in the U.S. military. Seriously? Is that what was actually said? Is that said in the video? Someone claims that U.S. Army pays soldiers to be quiet on the actual number of fatalities. How stupid are people to believe that? You do know that every frickin' soldier has a cell phone. Every frickin' soldier has a social media account. They're all violating OPSEC all the time using it. And you really think that a U.S. soldier is going to cover up? Please. Please. Give me a frickin' break. Give me a frickin'... Pay them how? How would you pay them? Do you give them extra money in their end of month pay? Of course it's bullshit. It's total bullshit. Stupid people should wear signs. Someone actually believes that. Wow. Wow. People actually believe that. Okay, Loretta, thank you. Yeah, people actually believe that. So did he address people behaving that way? And he was angry about that. He's right to be angry if that's what he did. What would it take for Trump to end the conflict in Iran? Well, he can end it anytime he wants, but we won't get what we want. We want 460 kgs of enriched uranium delivered to us. We want the complete dismantlement of their nuclear program, and we want a few other things. Yep. So, So, the war is going to have to end. Otherwise, it's going to affect the November elections, and it needs to end by August. I've said that for a long time. Sonia says, I've seen the Americans are more serious when it comes to regurgitating crap. Well, have you read South Africa's social media accounts? Everybody's that way. Every group. You've not upset me, Cool Beans. You just keep saying things that are harming your case. People observe these streams. People take screen captures. People that don't like you. I'm trying to help you and protect you. You're not listening to, again, I didn't say I'm upset. Didn't say I'm upset. I didn't say I'm upset. Listen, Leista. Never said I'm upset. I said I'm protecting you. Be grateful and let it drop, okay? You keep putting things in chat which don't help your case, okay? Twice now I've removed text message. I didn't give you a timeout. And you're still... Anyway, oh gosh. Anyway. Mario says, no one has the right to be disrespectful to anyone. Well, I don't know about that. It's not a sign of a weak mind. I don't know if I agree with that entirely. People who deserve disdain should get disdain. That's how we used to deal with miscreants. You remember the Scarlet Letter? Now, I don't agree with the Scarlet Letter, but supposedly, Hester Prynne committed adultery, so she had to wear the Scarlet Letter to show she was an adulteress. And so she was shunned. People misbehave and who are miscreants, who misbehave in public, who treat people poorly. In the past, people used the K word, people used the N word. We just didn't associate with them. They weren't invited to polite company. They weren't invited to events, and they got the message and changed their behavior, or they were just ostracized. I don't have a problem with people being disrespectful, people who don't deserve respect. That's my view on it. Maybe we differ on that. Ghana had a reaction. Ghana's reaction for no! Tell me about that, Cruiser Phoenix. Tell me about that. Is that where Willem Petzer did the thing about saying that Ghana was going to sue or something like that? Yeah, Sean. Hey, Sean. Sense of humor failure is a sign of a serious lack of coffee. Sean, I need to send you a message about a September trip. Okay. Please, somebody tell me what happened there, Cruiser Phoenix. They're going to sue him because of public speeches? Well, that's not a basis for suing him. He did make a video claiming that the Ghanaians were going to take South Africa to the court, and people asked me about it, and I said, I can't find any evidence of that anywhere. I can't find any news reports of that. Cinderella says, this is the most informative channel. Well, thank you for that. Wow. No, I don't know anything about that. Whatever. Yeah, well, I'm talking about an interview, Sean. Anyway. All right. So, in September, I'm flying to Chicago, driving from Chicago to Milwaukee, Milwaukee to Eau Claire, Eau Claire to Minneapolis, Minneapolis to Sioux Falls, Sioux Falls to Davenport, and back to Chicago. Marius says, I have a point. Okay. Zero Dark 30. Oh. Okay, Cruiser, but I don't understand. What does Ghana want to sue him for? Because he used the content? That if in the worst case, that's copyright infringement, unless he made a false claim. Did he make a false claim? No, again, people ask me about that situation with Willem Petzer, and I don't have any information on it. I could find no information whatsoever about Ghana and some court in the African Union. I don't know anything about that. So I couldn't do a story on it. I don't chase unicorns. Yep, unlike some content creators, and I'm not talking about Willem Petzer, I'm talking about someone who likes bathrobes, just make stuff up. I actually know what I'm talking about or research it, and also research if I know it. So say, I don't know what you're talking about, your dad's death certificate, huh? The Ghanaian government has not filed a direct state lawsuit against South Africa. Well, that was my determination last domino, but Willem Petzer made a video about it. When are you coming to Cape Town? Sooner rather than later, Andreas. Sooner rather than later. I think he said he was going to take around post-human rights court, something to do with it. Yes. James is currently in the bathroom. Call a spade and an idiot, whichever tool snowflakes like to identify with. It's their own problem. The world's messed up because people's feelings are more important than the truth. Exactly, Terry Barkhausen. 100%. Ja, genau. 100%. Ghana saying supposedly human rights abuses. Okay, again, thank you, Cruiser Phoenix. So Ghana is going to sue him over that? That's what I'm confused about. I know he made that video, and people asked me about it, so I went and watched the video, and I have no information. I've researched. I can't find any source that indicates that that's the case. Oh, okay. Last they've taken action for the Caesar shops. Well, good for them. Good for them. Evil Eye is magic. Huh. Good evening, Michelle Duchess. What's up? James is in the bathroom. Did you mention the hostage? No, I did mention the hostage in the Chase Bank. I did not mention that story. I skipped over that. That seemed like a local story. Well, thank you, Cruiser Phoenix. Appreciate that. Well, there are some leaders that want to disband. Well, I want to disband the South African Captured Human Rights Commission. It's not about human rights. It's about black supremacy and about punishing people with a racial revenge. That's what it's all about. I mean, look at Nota Beloy. Nota Beloy said that white people are genetically inferior. He said that white women are genetically inferior and can't carry children. Yet there were 10,000 white people in Europe, you know, a few tens of thousands of years ago, 40,000 years ago, and now there's 1.2 billion white people on the planet. Somehow, you know, they reproduced. He said that white people should be driven to the sea. What else did he say? He called them dogs. They should be on leashes and whipped like dogs. This is what Nota Beloy said about white people. And he didn't say it one time. He said it multiple times. He doubled and tripled down on it. I've met Nota. I think he's full of crap. He just said that for attention. But he said it. He said it. And it was harmful. It was disparaging to white people. And the Capture South African Human Rights Commission told him he had to give an apology. And they even wrote the apology for him. And then he read it and laughed about it as he read it on air. That's it. No court case, no bankruptcy, no prison time like Vicky Momberg, nothing. Nothing at all. He harmed the dignity of all 4.8 million white people in South Africa and frankly, white people all over the planet. And his punishment by the Captured South African Human Rights Commission was an apology which they wrote for him that he read on a podcast that made money for somebody because it was a podcast. That's what the Captured South African Human Rights Commission does. Meanwhile, Ronaldo Khos is still facing a lawsuit from these ghouls, this illegitimate body, over something that never happened. It never happened. But the racial revenge of the South African Captured Human Rights Commission is to ensure black supremacy and punishment of white people for presumed transgressions. Now, let's all be honest. The use of a Muslim or Arabic word to mean non-believer has been used in the context of South Africa to be a very disparaging racial comment. But the words, the comments, the endless things that Nota Beloy said about white people wasn't just a one-off use of a word. It demeaned white people and diminished them and made them subject to attack by others. And no consequences for Nota Beloy. By the way, what about Knobs and Kesey? Did we ever get a judgment on that? Did we ever get a judgment? Let's look up Knobs and Kesey. Knobs and Kesey. Did she ever get convicted? She got an interview on Newsroom Africa. Got 82,000 views. Inside the Fly Sapphire incident. Yeah. This is from 1 year ago. On December 26th, the Fly Sapphire flight from Durban to Cape Town, she was abusive. Following the incident, she was dismissed from position at SABC. She contended her termination occurred without a proper investigation. She apologized for remarks towards people of color during the incident, stating that she was not raised with such views. I could have handled it better. Has she been put on a no-fly list? She endangered public safety, threatened passengers, assaulted people on the flight. She hasn't even been banned from flying. Not even Fly Sapphire banned her, to my knowledge. No consequences for that behavior. I apologize. Well, that's not acceptable. They tried to destroy Ronaldo Khos's life and destroy his career, and you've suffered no consequences. I'd like to apologize to the color community. That's not who I am. I was raised that way. Yeah, because you were drunk. Don't believe in what I said. I sincerely apologize for whatever I said. I have color friends. I'm not racist. Well, having color friends doesn't mean you're not a racist. You're a color from Mitchell's Plains. All those gold rings, but no degree. Right now, when we land, I'm going to take an Uber home. You don't even have a driver's license. You don't even have a car. Wow. That's what she said. So, Nobbs and McKeezy, no court case, no criminal action against her by the captured South African Human Rights Commission. They can disband it because it's an illegitimate body. It does nothing. Right. The UN's publication, Human Rights, is an anti-white publication. Exactly. It's not a human rights publication. Chris, well, you've had good success in the past, Chris, taking Steve Biko charge of fraud and reporting them. Good for you, man. Okay, so I'm going to address something here very quickly. So, Delia, Cool Beans, my moderator rightly banned Cool Beans a few days back. You asked me to consider letting him back in. I did. The reason the person was banned is because me. The entire conversation over here, 40% of it is about you guys. You can start your own channel if you like. You're welcome to do that. Okay? I've not banned either one of you. I've not given you timeouts today. It's been warranted on several occasions in his case. Knock it off. You're welcome to chat. See, there you go. There you go, buddy. So, laughing my ass off now. Okay. You're done for today. See, you're a rude ass. You're just being a rude ass. Nobody was saying stupid things, Delia. Cool Beans started all of it. Nobody was talking about your case. Here we go. Yep. So he's gotten a timeout. In fact, I'm considering banning him for good. Laughing his ass off. Has no consideration, no respect for anybody. You know. Yeah, Delia, you're on the verge too. Really just disrespectful conduct. Really disrespectful. Patience beyond belief with people. Disrespectful, rude, attention seeking constantly. Did I say anything about that? Well, I don't really fully understand his testimony. A warrant officer had his coffee machine stolen, so people gave him 250,000 Rand. That doesn't make any sense to me. They started a GoFundMe to give, or back a buddy to give him 250,000 Rand for a coffee machine. There must be more to the story. Is it because his life was put in jeopardy? He's going to donate the money or something like that now, which is pretty cool. Yep. Anyway. No, people act all silly about things all the time. Remember how patient I was with Christian Paradago? Chugsy, because I was ignoring him, but you all keep responding to the chat, and it's distracting. So, am I supposed to ignore everyone in the chat? No. I'm a content creator who brings my audience into the conversation, addresses their concerns, their wants, desires, their needs. And if you're spending 40% of your time responding to whining and complaining, it's distracting the chat. So you can tell me to just ignore it, and I did ignore it, and it only got worse. You're missing the point entirely. Yeah, Vanessa, I got you. I got you what they're saying, but I mean, I didn't see his testimony. I've just read a few of the stories, and they were a little confusing. AUFR says, I feel that there are good people of all races in South Africa. Well, I agree. Most people are good people. It's only a small number of troublemakers. He's taken out of narcotics administration. He has 40 years experience of standing on everyone's toes, and the cops are involved in cocaine. Okay, well, that's more information. I'll have to research the story. But no, I haven't talked about it because I've been busy and I didn't have time to get into that story. I didn't see his testimony. Yep. Debbie says, I feel, yes, some people's situations is bad in others, but everyone has been persecuted in different ways. That's why we're fleeing. Must consider everybody. Must consider everybody for what, Debbie? What are you talking about? I don't understand. What do I have to consider everybody for? No, Amanda, thank you for the more background information. Ignore the chat except for legitimate questions. Well, then you all need to quit engaging. It's like when we had Dogzilla in here. You know, people are like, oh, welcome, Dogzilla. What do you mean welcome? The guy's an ass. I ignored him, and I ignored him, and I ignored him. And then you all engaged him, and the people moaned about him. People engaged him in the chat, and they moaned about him. The only person that stood up to Dogzilla in the chat was Light Rain. Light Rain put him in his place every time. Every time Light Rain put Dogzilla in his place, he just disappeared. Just disappeared. Yep. That was Dogzilla. Yep. And he got what he deserved. He got banned because he's an ass. Cool Beans is, I don't know that he's an ass. I'm not saying he is, but he's just constantly moaning about something that can't be fixed here, and it's distracting, and people don't like it. So, yep. Where the hell's that song at? Dogzilla. I don't have that song. That's weird. Where is my Dogzilla song at? That's bizarre. There it is.
Dogzilla monster, yeah, it's too much. Hey! Bet you think this jam is all you'll play. Splashing through the Colonial stream, throwing shade like it's a meme. No facts, just vibe. Each one a scene. Warning, stacking, count it out. In, tweet, 3, time out! Colonel says, with a sly little grin, some journos out there, bit thick in the bin. But rocks don't tweet. Brew, they just chill. They don't spin stories or send out the bill. Life's too short for moaning and grind. Share the lecker, the truth, the crime. Chuck the ugly, leave it behind. Let the truth dance out. Let it shine. No time for drama, no space for spite. We groove truth, we jam it right. Living in a fairyland, shame man, please. Keyboard warrior with no real steeds. Typing daggers, throwing shade. But words don't scar, they just fade. So what's your handle, winner? Be cool, be a friendly troll, not a Peter fool. Listen up, facts are fire. Smart is sexy, no need to conspire. Colonel's truth, yo, it hits like a drum. Breaks the fake, makes the trolls go numb. Some peeps laugh, some just moan. Colonel, leave the rocks alone. Life's too short for moaning and grind. Share the lecker, the truth, the prime. Chuck the ugly, leave it behind. Let the truth dance out. Let it shine. No time for drama, no space for spite. We groove with truth. We jam it right.
Dogzilla's theme song. I didn't write that one. That was one of our viewers did that. Yeah. So, yeah, look, somebody just said, I think that the refugee program has been a blessing and a curse you. It was Pizza Party. Yeah, but Pizza Party, look, leaders lead. Leaders don't shirk from responsibility. I didn't ask to do this. It's like being the commander of the Veterans Organization. I didn't ask for that. I wasn't seeking it. But someone had to save the place from going bankrupt. Someone had to save the place from the nasty, drunken turds who were disrupting it and causing problems. Someone had to clean up the discipline. No one was willing to do it. They're all just happy to just move along and think that things are going to be fine. I was nominated and elected to be commander. I didn't want to be commander. And the morons, when I had an open session to tell people what was wrong with the place, and I said I didn't ask to be commander, they heard what they wanted to hear. Oh, you don't want to be commander. I didn't say I didn't want to be commander. I said I didn't ask to be. I didn't actively seek it. By contrast, I actively sought to be the legislator for this district and spent $23,000 of my own money to do it because I thought it was important. I sought that position. That I tried to get, and I didn't attain it. There you go. I didn't seek to be the voice of the refugee program or be the one objective commentator that is truthful about the good, the bad, the indifferent of this program. But no one else was doing it. Lots of people stuck their toe in there. Most of them have hidden agendas or objectives. Not all. Professor G doesn't. Lili van der Plas doesn't. But many others do. Someone has to lead. Leaders take charge. Leaders make a difference. I'm a leader. And that's what I've been my entire life as an adult. I've always led people, whether it was at a team level, at a unit level, at a battalion level or higher, national level, in embassies, in combat, in business. I'm a leader. And leaders don't shirk from responsibility. Leaders see problems ahead of time. And that's why I've done my analysis to predict and tell people what I believe is going to happen in the program. And I've been correct about it on virtually everything all along. A minor mistake here or there because the information wasn't complete. But that's the problem with analysis. It's not perfect. You don't have all the information. You're making a projection or prediction based on limited information, based on your knowledge, your experience, and your understanding of the components that make up this situation. Leaders lead. Cowards run. Cowards attack. Don't apply for the refugee program from a mobile phone or tablet. Use a PC or a laptop. Save your work repeatedly. It could take up to 7 hours or more to complete it. Love to apply for a program, but I have no evidence to back up what I say. Hoppity, what evidence? You don't have to have evidence. Okay, please listen to me. This is something I've said from the very beginning. If you watch my videos, you'll see that. You, as a refugee, do not have to prove anything. Anything. You don't have to prove anything. There's no burden of proof. Your mission as a refugee aspirant, whether you're a Somali, a Congolese, a Kyrgyz, or a South African, is the same. You must articulate past persecution or a well-founded fear of future persecution. If you're a homosexual living in Amman, Jordan, and they're throwing homosexuals off the roofs of buildings to their death, you have a well-founded fear of future persecution. You can and should apply to be a refugee or seek asylum if you've got somewhere legally. You don't need to prove anything, and you don't need a mobile phone. Go find someone who has a computer that will let you use it and file your case. It's simple. Simple. Well-founded. You need to articulate, not prove. The burden of proof rests with an asylum seeker. That's why it's a fool's errand. It's a fool's errand. Unless you have some high-profile case and you're a political asylum seeker fleeing from a totalitarian state like the Nobel Prize-winning former president of Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi, who is in prison. If she were to escape and come to America as an asylum seeker, if she come here legally, then enter and then apply for asylum, she would not have to prove it. We can all prove that she was persecuted. We have the proof. She was in prison, sitting president, overthrown in a coup. Don't need proof. Asylum seekers must prove it. 90+% of asylum seekers are frauds. They just want a better day. They want a sunny outlook. They want a better place in the sun. That's not a legitimate reason to be granted asylum. It doesn't work that way. All right? So, Hoppity, listen to what I say. Leista. Find a computer or a laptop. Have your information. Be prepared for it to take a long time. Fill it out. Save your work continuously. Once you get contacted, if you don't have a phone, you're going to have a phone where they can contact you. So you need to get a phone for that. I can't help you with that. Okay? All right. Did anyone ever come back with an answer for giving Karen a ride to go collect her document? If they don't like the news, go watch SABC. Yeah, there you go. Yaku Schultz says the help on the refugee stuff is only a kind gesture from the colonel, and a very kind gesture to say the least. Analysts is always dismissed the same way labeled. Crazy, dangerous, outdated, misinformation. Not because they're wrong, but because pattern recognition is contagious. Holden, that's a good statement. Pattern recognition is contagious. Leaders always sort stuff out, and I commend you on that, and you voice it, which is a good trait. Thank you, Michelle. And Cruiser Phoenix is hoppity, articulate means explain. Yep, you got it right. Oh, actually, Cruiser Phoenix, your advice was perfect. Go to Internet Cafe and apply and go get a 300 Rand phone. Exactly, that's 100%. Go to Pep. Go to Mr. Price. They sell phones for 300 Rand. Let me go to Mr. Price and see. Well, maybe more than that now. Let's see. Let me see. Mr. Price. Mr. Price. Mr. Price online. Let's go to Mr. Price and see what they got. Mr. Price online. They still got cell phones? They used to sell cell phones. I don't go to Mr. Price. It's just showing clothing. Cellular. There we go. Cellular. Okay. Connecting is a vibe. Okay. Shop now. Okay. Mr. Price. Let's see. Come on. Boy, that's slow because it's coming from South Africa. It's going to undersea data cables. Okay, those are price. Those are pricey. Cheapest one I can find here is $7.99. Looking, they're not sorted by price. $7.99. Another one, $6.99. There you go, $6.99. $249. Oh, here you go. This is all you need. Here you go. This is all you need. Mr. Price is selling this phone, the Nokia 105 Black, for $249. All you need is voice and text. That's all you need. Email. There you go. 249 Rand. Right there. Look at that. Wow. There you go. So that's Mr. Price. Let's go to Pep. South Africa. Online. Okay, Pep online. Okay, come on, Pep. I know they've got it. They sell phones too. Cellular, Pep. Cell phones. Let's click on that. What was that? Was that like prices? Hang on a second. Okay, let's go to this one here. All right, so here's Pep. Cell phones. All right, here we go. $7.99 again. $5.49 for a Hisense. 16 gigabyte dual SIM. Look at that. A dual SIM phone for 549 Rand. That's insane, folks. 549 Rand. That's $34 for a cell phone. $3.99 for this. Oh, it's a router. No. Okay. $1.99 for the one I just showed you for $2.99. You can get it for $1.99. $1.99. Ladies and gentlemen, 199 Rand is barely, that's $12 for a cell phone. Are you serious? $159. Let's even get lower. Look at that. $159. There's no reason not to have a cell phone. $159 divided by 16, that's $10 for a cell phone. $10. $10. Well, I just found a Quest Astro for $149 or $159. I mean, you can't beat that. That's a Pep. $159 for a phone. I mean, come on. Come on, guys. See device to do the Teams interview. Okay, so I'm not going to make it to 127,000 a day. It looks like I'm at 9 short. Now I'm 11 short. I guess some of the trolls left. Chrome connections, newer Nokia for $249. It's not network locked. You can use any SIM. There you go. $249, dual SIM. Oh, okay. Anyway, there you go. Christy is on a substance that calms her down, and she didn't take it today. Okay. Anyway, there you go. So that's it. All right. All right, we've been at this for 2 hours, folks. It is time to go. Yeah, I remember the old Nokia and Ericsson phones. Yep, I still got one of those. In fact, Is it here or is it upstairs? I think maybe it's upstairs. Yeah. I just had that phone out. It's not here. I had the darn thing, so I just was looking at it the other day, the little thin one. Yep. All right, that's going to do it. Hit the like button if you don't mind, folks. Be sure to hit that like button. Thanks for the super chats that came this way. Thanks for everybody engaged. Listen, folks, you're welcome to come to the chat, and if you're frustrated by your process for refugee, hold it till after the news. That's fine. You want to talk about it's fine, but don't keep going on and on and on trying to bring everybody down. That's unwarranted, unnecessary. Okay? All right, it doesn't help anybody. All it does is distract, and it's unfair to everyone watching the program. All right, cheers, be well, and we'll see you all later. I've got some errands to run as usual. Cheers.